think so. I think so. All right. Coming into Lowell Park in the heart of Barnstable County here in Cotuit, Massachusetts. Another season of Cape Cod baseball right here. The months have gone by. The summer is officially at our doorstep, and we welcome you inside of our Lowell Park broadcast booth. Brooke Kilgore alongside Liam Irwin. Liam, welcome. First of all, it's your first game here at Lowell Park. Just,
Introduce yourself to the community. We're really excited to get to know you.
Yeah, great to be here at Lowell Park. Almost 301 days since the last appearance for the Kettleers in the Cape Cod Collegiate Baseball League, so good to be back out here.
Of a scrimmage today. I'm Liam Irvin, everybody, out of USC. Happy to be here in the Cape for the first time.
And we're so glad to have you. Of course, we talk about change. Of course, happy to be here alongside you too, Brooke Kilgore, for a second season. We got changes in the broadcast booth. We also have changes out on the field. Manager, a brand new one for the Cotuit Kettleers after the departure of Lauren Hibbs, his first season with the Kets. Not too long ago, of course, he brought them all the way to those West Division semifinals in which the Kets lost to the Bourne Braves for the second consecutive season in a row. Liam, what are we seeing from the new guy in the dugout?
Yeah, Coach Rob Cooper is kind of the big storyline for the Kettleers coming into the offseason. Coach Hibbs out as of last season, 1 year with the Kettleers, and brought them to the semifinals, like you mentioned, losing to Bourne. And Coach Cooper, one of the most experienced Division I and collegiate coaches, 30 years of experience, 25 of those at the Division I level, currently finds himself as the head baseball coach at Ave Maria, a Division II program. But along the way, he's done so much for college baseball. 9 seasons with the Wright State Raiders, in which he made 3 regional appearances, 10 seasons with the Penn State Nittany Lions, and then he's had assistant coaching stints all the way from Miami, Tulane, Wake Forest, Sacramento City College, and Oral Roberts, including being a scout. So Coach Cooper with a lot of experience. I could tell you, Brooke, firsthand, we've talked to him multiple times. He's so fired up to be here.
Sounds like you're becoming one of his best friends with all that you rattled there. Of course, a lot of experienced Kets fans can get excited for this one. Of course, Cotuit Kettleers with a brand new roster, as always. Only a couple of returners to look forward to here. The Kets taking the mound first to start off this top of the first inning. In the batter's box is Dylan Walsh, the second baseman for the Lexington Blue Sox. Of course, time to talk about Lexington. They're a little bit of a different setup in terms of how they run their league out in Intercity. A lock to there, as they call strike on that first ball. And on the mound, Liam, can you give us a little bit about him?
Yeah, it'll be Alex Soteropoulos today for the Kettleers. Only 6 guys in the field for the Kets, so something to note. You're going to have a Blue Sox replacement in left field and center field as well. But Soteropoulos, hailing out of Columbia University, nearly doubled his innings this season. He threw 61 and 2/3 innings pitched, 6.57 ERA for Columbia over there. You're going to see a fastball, slider, curveball, and splitter. But Brooke, over to you for the fielders that we have so far for the Kets.
Watch that ball run up down the second base side. Walsh will advance to first off of that single play. And of course, the fielding is going to be a little bit of an interesting setup, as you just mentioned. We'll have to see who the Blue Sox have offered up in terms of left and center field in that regard. But of course, you've got guys from all over. Just looking here, Hanley out of Indiana. Of course, we only have about 6 guys listed on our end, so we'll have to go through there. He'll be about out of the second hole out of Indiana for first base on that first base side. And after the pitch, down low to Landerio. At second base, you have Esteban Garcia out of Boston College. Your third of base side, Jesse DiMaggio out of Westmont, number 26 in that regard. Swing and a miss, called strike on that ball. Continuing over to shortstop is Hunter Warren out of Wright State. An incredible year for him out there as well. Of course, we'll have time to cover all of them as they come up to the plate as well. And then your only Kettleer outfielder is returner Landon Beaver. Soteropoulos checking it first. Beaver, Kets fans may remember, had that incredible walk-off hit to advance the Kettleers to that semifinal round over the Wareham Gatemen. Kind of coming in for about a week stint, didn't really get to know the guys too much, but he was excited to get back out onto that field today. We talked to him before the game. Soteropoulos unleashes. They were going to check for swing. Say it's a ball. Count 2-1. Of course, Beaver, probably one of the more familiar faces in terms of the field out there for the Kettleers. He, spending a lot of time in the summer just getting ready to go and really helping out the Kets when they needed it the most. Of course, the Kettleers couldn't make it happen against Bourne, dropped that series 2-1. The Bourne Braves would go on to win the CCBL championship in that regard as well. 3-1 for Soteropolis. He unloads. Down, they will call it strike, full count. The first of this scrimmage here against the Lexington Blue Sox.
Yeah, and to your point, Brooke, a lot of people still entering the Cape and heading up north for the season so far. So only 6 position players for the Kettleers currently, but many more expected to come tonight.
Swing it down out to the left side of the field. They're going to run a quick 5-3. And he's out at first.
Solid play by DiMaggio there. Runner took off on the pitch to prevent the double play, so Walsh moves over to second base. DiMaggio ranged to his left side, threw it on to first to Hanley.
And approaching the box now, number 3 right fielder Jake McEnroy. Of course, Lexington, something unique about them is they'll take players who are committed to colleges, out of college, in college, so there's a wide age range over there. Really proud of that aspect, and it's a really cool concept.
Yeah, Coach Rick DeAngelis really harps on being able to be inclusive with this team, understand that everybody's out there for a different purpose. A couple of pro guys, a couple of ex-pro guys, guys going into college, so they're going to hit 10 today like they normally do, and the Blue Sox organization really get their guys out there, get as much experience as possible on the diamond here at Lowell Park.
Foul ball down out to the right side. It's a great chance to learn a little bit about guys from the Massachusetts area. A lot of them hail from different cities around the bend. Worcester is also on there. That's a fun word to learn. Coming from the West Coast, you look at that, think it's Worcester. That is very quickly beat out of you. Arlington, Andover, Lowell as well. So picks up the ball, looking around, trying to keep guys at check. And that's another storyline. Who is manning the backstop, Liam?
Yeah, well, Sejon O is currently the guy playing a bit of a game of catch with Soteropolis, but he's been incredible this season. Had a great year at High Point University, and he'll man the dish in the opening scrimmage.
Line drive right to first base, and it's picked up off that play. The Cats retire the Lexington Blue Sox to go out of that first inning. Only a hit really allowed by Soteropolis in his first debut as a Kettleer. We're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, we'll see what the Lexington Blue Sox defense has to offer. So I'll just go off his perfect game. Coming into the bottom of this first inning, the leadoff hitter for the Cotuit Kettleers of a 6-man lineup. Of course, we talked a little bit about that pregame. Jesse DiMaggio out of Westmount University. A .309 batting average out of 49 games played as he takes a strike on that first ball. On the mound for the Lexington Blue Sox, Brady Andrews, still high school. Yet to see a little bit of college play here. As DiMaggio takes a swing at it, bounces off on that. Newport Beach, California, so you're a little familiar with that area, Liam. We'll give you your SoCal credit there.
Yeah, over there on the West Coast. Talk about a tall task for the youngster right now, coming in, committed to Merrimack College, and has a really storied high school career at Austin Prep out there on the West Coast, but facing the lineup of future could-be MLB draft picks. Only 6 hitters in the lineup for the Kettleers, so they'll rotate through. Might be a ghost runner situation if needed.
DiMaggio lines it down the middle of the field. He will advance to first off of that play. His first hit, at least in this preseason, wearing a Kettleers jersey, and that breaks up Jake Hanley. Talked a little bit about him when we were watching batting practice earlier. What a stud out of Indiana, 6'6", 241 infielder. Really takes pride. He started every single game for the Hoosiers so far these past 2 seasons.
Yeah, it took him almost a month his freshman year to hit his first collegiate homer, and then the power has really surged since. He was more of a pitcher growing up, truly, but he's always had that big build. 6'6", 241 from the left side, and he will be a bopper for the Kettleers this summer.
Looks at the pitch going wide. Of course, some fans, if you may have been paying attention, Hanley was actually a part of the Chatham Anglers organization last season, appeared in 35 games, 231 batting average, scoring 15 runs with 25 hits attached to it. That ball goes deep to center field. And Landerio backs up to clock that one in, sending Hanley home for his first appearance as a Kettleer. But of course, he really helped that Chatham roster really get through some of those plays. Of course, he was a 2025 Big Ten Freshman of the Year and then an All Big Ten selection this past season. A lot to look forward to. The first at bat, just getting used to things, getting ready to go as Hunter Warren out of Wright State, the shortstop, takes to the box. Loads, he's going to send that right back down to the shortstop in a double play, trying for it. And they put it away. Brady Andrews, first time on the mound, facing a Cotuit Kettleers lineup that's astounding. They put him away, and we head on into the second inning. Mississippi, they did not go farther than that regional round. Gonna check for the swing there and wave it off. Ball on that play, but He's been really consistent for Columbia throughout the season. 6.57 ERA in 61.2 innings pitched. He made the Ivy League All-Tournament team. He was also a preseason All-Conference team member as well. 12 appearances on the season, 11 starts on the mound. Could be a consistent choice for Cooper, looking to try and find the starting lineup as guys filter in.
And again, this is one of those games where you're not really seeing the full potential of the Kettleers yet. A lot of guys still incoming, but for Cotuit, you're right, a lot of relievers in the bullpen, all right-handed pitchers so far that have reported to Lowell Park. So Soteropoulos, a really good option. And again, what stood out to me was his just inning limit, his ability to double his innings throughout the year. Freshman season through 39 1/3 innings pitched, and then doubled it to 61 2/3 this season. So pretty consistent, tough to hit in the batter's box. Opponent batting average of 262. If he can stay in the zone, when he gets behind in the count, that's usually where struggles come sometimes for Soteropoulos.
Full count here. A swing for the batter, Nick Anderson, as he is retired for the first time this game. Sends the center fielder back to the dugout, which brings out A.J. Lisco, the left fielder. Taking a look here, of course, Lexington signs a lot of guys from the area. So interesting to see kind of what the stories are here. There's a lot to take in. Soteropoulos unleashes. It's a swing as the ball bounces back towards us. Count 0-1.
Yeah, I mean, the Blue Sox have a mismatched group of guys in their lineup, but they're not to be messed with. A championship last season once again, and there was a stretch there from 2019 to 2021, 3 straight for the Blue Sox.
And that fly out by DiMaggio helps set up the second out of this inning. On that ball, of course, but like you said, a championship team, they hold the most in that Intercity League, over 17, about the same with Cotuit there, ironically. So a lot of prestige, and that history goes back to when Mike Roberts was still really the main manager here. He was here for well over a couple of decades, helping provide expertise to the Cotuit Kettleers and bringing home a couple of championships there as well. But their manager, Rick DeAngelis, played for Cotuit back in the day. So this matchup is just something of tradition at this point in time as that ball rolls off the pad of O. And you can't beat tradition on the Cape Cod.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole point of the Cape Cod Collegiate Baseball League, the charm to the league as well. And DeAngelis has been really upfront with the fact that he believes Lowell Park is one of the most special places in the world. Started back about 20 plus years ago when Pete Freight's Family Foundation initially had the exhibition as a fundraiser for ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease.
Two in the count. Soteropoulos looking to put away another one in this great first look. Fans really getting the opportunity to observe. Ball goes wide, taking a swing. They're going to call it a foul. But it's incredible to think it's almost a melting pot of organizations. Of course, a lot of the Lexington guys, coming from different schools, like we said, some still in high school. Cotuit really has the luxury of fielding some of the best in D1. This ball goes swung on and miss. Soteropoulos finishes the inning, 3 straight for the Cotuit Kettleers in a fine top of second performance. And when we come back, take a look at Brady Andrews back on the mound. navy jerseys, red sleeves and red lettering with white outlines and their white pants to go along with it. So, the pants match, maybe not the jerseys. So we'll take that one. And on the plate for Lexington, now turned Cotuit, is Talon Rossborough. The catcher batting right from Uckbridge as he sends that one, pops it up just high enough for Lexington to run and make the play. And that will be Walsh running in to help defend that infield section. Grateful for their attempts and grateful that they were willing to loan some players over to the Kettleers to help make this scrimmage happen. As Liam said earlier on in this matchup, a lot of guys coming in today is what Coach Cooper told us pregame. They're still waiting for a couple of guys to make it from either their regionals or couple week break after a long season. Jesse DiMaggio back at the plate, the third baseman, in that regard. He's made a couple of really good plays to kick off this game for the Kettleers. We'll have to see how he does at the plate here as he sends this one right into the glove of Spark as he touches the base and ends that bottom of the second inning. The Kettleers with a lot of hot bats ready to go and kick things off in this Lexington Cotuit scrimmage. 3-0 Cotuit as we head into the top of the third. Interesting to see your bullpen matching your position player amount. In this case, the Kettleers have a lot of arms to try, maybe not as many position players to field out there, but of course, Soteropoulos has a good amount of bullpen backing him up in today's game, including 2 Kettleer returners as that ball goes over the head. The batter. Of course, Jonathan Edelman making his return. He was really crucial to Cotuit last season as a reliever. Came in to help finish up a couple of tight games against Chatham and help elevate Cotuit to that first place in the West Division standing they held. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see how Edelman and players like Ryan Buckler, who's a 3-time Kettleer, coming in here and really making a statement for himself with 5 starts overall last season, how they help lead this team. That ball comes right back to us. Of course, Liam, you mentioned your glove is back in California, so I don't know if that would have helped us in that situation without a
Not
net.
active today, Brooke. I'm going to have to get that out here for some catch or something. But you talk about the lineup construction, pitcher-wise, 9 arms right now reporting to Lowell Park for the Kettleers, all right-handed pitchers. Mentioned the 2 with experience from the Kets last season, and then all the others newcomers.
And we talked a little bit to Edelman and Buckler about how they might help lead this program, as that is first baseman Joe Spark, who is retired. Caught him looking on that play. Of course, you go up to these guys and say, you know, you've had a great deal of experience, some with over 20 games under their belt, Ryan Buckler being one of the originals, you could say, at this point in time. How do you expect to go out there and lead a program, especially a brand new bullpen of guys that goes straight into the glove? Soteropoulos, as he tosses that on over to Hanley to help retire. And just like that, we are getting ready to see how this next batter plays out. Of course, there's only 2 outs so far on this one. Soteropoulos having a really great day, throwing some really consistent pitches from what it looks like. He told us a little bit, it's kind of what he wanted to focus on going into this season, or this summer, I should say.
And you're seeing a lot of the mix of pitches really emphasize working on his command, landing his off-speed pitches as a point of improvement coming into this season. Mentioned fastball, slider, curveball, splitter. Does like to go to that slider and splitter like you saw on the strikeout right there. Dropped it back door on the slider for the first out.
Waits the toss. Takes a swing just too low for Brian Acosta. Or excuse me, Brendan Doyle. Of course, the lineup changes have gone so much since we got the lineup originally, and then we saw Acosta thrown out to our field. There's been some discussion about how to go about that.
Yeah, Acosta was designated as the 8-hitter in the lineup for the Sox today, but currently in left field for the Kettleers. So that's how the scrimmages work out sometimes, Brooke.
We'll take this moment to appreciate how much baseball changes right under your nose sometimes. That is Brendan Doyle, the catcher. Had that play earlier on in the second. Lost the ball in the sun as he sends that one foul to right side and practically into the ocean. And that's another aspect that a lot of players, I'm sure even Lexington, could agree on, and that fact is how beautiful this park is. I mean, of course, we are the Cotuit broadcasters, so there may be a little bit of bias in that regard, but this is one of the more beautiful ballparks in the league.
Well, even Rick DeAngelis, the manager for the Blue Sox, says it as well. Obviously a player for the Kettleers. He was back in his day the only coach ever for the Blue Sox, by the way. 31 years with the organization. Really done a great deal for the Lexington program, but even he says this is one of the most special places on the planet. So being able to be back at Lowell Park with baseball and the lines painted is special.
Really is, especially after a whole off season for a lot of Cotuit fans probably coming to this park just to take a look at it. It's empty without its players. Full of life. Good amount of fans in the stands so far here today. It's spread out throughout both the third and first base home stands. Soteropoulos unwinds and sends that one down. We're going to call that a ball. It's Dylan Walsh back in the box for the Lexington Blue Sox. Sends that one down to the third base side. DiMaggio can't pick it up, and that'll allow Walsh to advance to first base. It's like he was running with the glove tipped down on the ground and just happened to bounce right out of it. We don't have replay today, so we can't show it to you. Of course, we're excited to have that for the most of the regular season for all of our home games. But interesting to see how that progression has been going on, of course. DiMaggio so far this season, take a look. He's a decent fielder. Upper high 900 percentage there as that ball is sent out center field. Looking for it is Rosborough, and he manages to put it away for the Cotuit Kettleers as we head into the bottom of the third inning. Score still 3-0 for the Cats as we head into break. On the mound for the Lexington Blue Sox, and Nick Hart, the pitcher out of Brandeis College. He has only got 1 inning of experience under his belt entering today, coming out of his freshman season, or sophomore season, I should say. He's out of Winchester, Massachusetts, so not too far down the road, and looking to face arguably one of the best batters in this Cotuit lineup.
Yeah, the sophomore, 6 foot, out of Brandeis University. You mentioned it, Brooke, and limited experience his sophomore year. 2 appearances, 1 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 runs earned. And he'll face a tall task at the plate in Jake Hanley.
Hanley winding up. Saw a little bit of action from him in that first inning as that first ball is let go up high. Top of the box for him.
Yeah, and that's part of the adjustment today as well, Brooke, is a lot of the arms that the Cape Cod League and the Kettleers will face this season will be high, low 90s, and a couple of the arms today for the Blue Sox, lower speed. So you saw in that first at-bat for Hanley kind of getting out in front of it, lunging at it, and popping it out to the shortstop. See how the adjustment manages the second time up.
That changeup coming in around 71 miles an hour. Of course, Hanley having a good amount of time in the postseason and also his regular season as he's hit by that pitch. Took 84 mile an hour off the back on that ball. Definitely feeling it from the expression we saw on his face, but he is walking back to the dugout. Jogging. I don't know about you, but 84 mile an hour fastball to the back, definitely probably not what I would want.
Especially in a scrimmage as well, trying to get tuned up for the season, but Hanley will wear it. Another one of those promising guys at the plate in Hunter Warren now.
Shortstop out of Wright State, of course, 55 games played that season, 361 average as that ball is called a strike in the zone. 82 hits, 50 runs, 12 walks. He also really high 41 RBI on that season for him. He'll be crucial. He's a redshirt sophomore. That pitch almost hits Warren as well. He was a Horizon League first team, also won batter of the week during that season as well. He led the team, or sat second at least in batting average, runs batted in, but held first for the amount of games played as they check Hanley at first base. Of course, he redshirted in 2024. 2025 saw the same amount of time as his redshirt sophomore season. He was the Horizon League Freshman of the Year for a 361 average, 82 hits, 50 runs on that one, 8 home runs as well. Interesting to see how he almost tied some of those categories from the same seasons.
I'm not sure if you've seen Wright State's schedule, Brooke, but a lot of high competition, and Wright State picked up a win against Georgia, currently in the Super Regionals on opening weekend. And in fact, as that one brushes inside and plunks Warren, now's a great time to get into it. Jake Hanley moves to second and Warren to first. Those two actually played against each other this season, Indiana and Wright State. Hanley was 2 for 5 in that one, 2 runs and 2 RBIs, and Warren was 1 for 3 with a homer. So why they're bested each other, now working for the same team in Cotuit.
Good reason why they're so high in the order. Cleanup batter and Landon Beaver returns once again. Of course, in that second inning, had the walk to start it off and was able to run home thanks to nice double by Esteban Garcia in that run. So fitting that the returning Kettleer helped score the first run of this scrimmage. Hart unleashes it down the zone. They will call that strike. Your umpires for today's game. Returning umpires, at least in Brendan Murphy, out calling that regard as he unleashes that one. Brendan Murphy out by shortstop and second. Mike Rabideau calling balls and strikes behind the plate. Excited to talk more to the umpires, hear more about their story. A lot of guys last year, I mean, it's also an umpire-based honor to be in the Cape Cod Baseball League as Landon Beaver sends that one out, and that is fielded by Landiero. and sends him back to the dugout. As I was saying, umpires come here kind of feels like an accreditation system too, to say that you've umped and called Cape Cod Baseball League there too. A lot of guys can actually win best umpire of the league and year honors as well. Had a chance to talk to some of them last season. That one is sent deep by O. And Lysko fields that ball. They're trying to see if they can catch Hanley at second. Runners do not advance.
Opposite field approach from O. Nick Hart is seemingly settled in, the righty. Threw, I thought, his best pitch of the day. That frisbee slider to Landon Beaver and got it on the hands. A pop out to the shortstop, and that one O trying to stay to the opposite field and just got a little under it.
Garcia taking the plate once again in a similar situation. Hanley on second. Trying to see as he sends that one right up down the middle. It is not picked up by Walsh. Hanley running around second. They're going to stop Warren at third base. Garcia, 3 RBI on the day. Just a great start for him out of Boston College. Of course, a lot to talk about with him. He had a .264 average, saw 44 games, but started in 19 of them, starting to really pick up that experience as the season went on. He had 17 RBI out there in the ACC. And of course, we're welcoming our 2 Lexington Blue Sox into the batting order. Brian Acosta, left field. Looks like he might go trade out his bat. Fun fact about the Blue Sox, they were the first in the Intercity to make the switch to wood bats for all home games, and then the league followed suit 2 years later. So that started in 2000, and Intercity picked it up 2002. So it's an all wood bat policy for every team. And we were told by one of their media personnel, they are so proud to be the first championship team of an all league-wide wood bat era. So wood is definitely their preference, so we'll have to see. And that bat switch does the job as they send that up. Double play mistake there. Trying to see if Walsh could put that one up as he was fielded. Just slipped right out of his hands, just over the top of the glove. And that allows Acosta to advance to first base.
Chopper up the middle and off the hands. Double play opportunity again. And Blue Sox early in the season as well, trying to field their position. Landero to Walsh. The flip was a little off, timing and communication-wise.
Bouncer just down the middle of the field. Walsh is going to step on the plate, take the last out of this inning to enter the top of the fourth. The Kettleers still up 5-0 now, thanks to the help of Garcia's significant RBI performance today on the season. We'll see you at the top of the fourth inning. The Cotuit Kettleers is Joel Core out of Stetson University. He just transferred there. Of course, he's from Puerto Rico. So we talked to Coach Cooper before this game about the importance of guys really getting the opportunity to meet new players. This is kind of their, major league pre-experience to get to know guys from different backgrounds. And Core has been nothing but an excellent player throughout his past 2 seasons. 4.26 ERA for Stetson, 44.1 innings pitched, 19 appearances, 5 games started for Stetson. He plays alongside former Kettleers from last season, James Hayes and Zane Coppersmith as well. He was telling me a little bit, too, about the advice that they gave him. Just go all out and have fun. It's your summer. Take advantage of it. He did a phenomenal job, though, in the season before.
Yeah, absolutely. Transferring from Bethune-Cookman University and Stetson, obviously, their presence from a pitcher perspective, guys like Jacob deGrom, Corey Kluber, going to Stetson. So being able to be a part of that conference, the A-Sun and the Graphite Division, that's something that Joe Core has really grown on. Asked about his pitch arsenal earlier today. He said change-ups, lefties, righties, no matter what it is, a lot of change-ups. So keep an eye on that for the righty. 6 foot 195. You mentioned it, Brooke, out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico.
They were SWAC champs, advanced to the regional where they were swept by number 9 FSU in Northeastern out there. Just tell this is a guy that just really wants to help his program win in any way. Fun to talk to, really polite, outgoing, and willing to help give us a little bit of sound when we need it there as he throws his first pitch. That ball goes high and wide to center field. That'll be Rosabo fielding that one for that first out of the game. Nice fly out for the first pitch of Core in his appearance as a Kettleer.
A little bit of friendly fire for Osborough. He's made 2 pretty solid plays out there in center field for the Kettleers. And you talk about Core and kind of the destiny to become a great player, and obviously coming from Stetson, so history with the pitching staff, talked about that already, and coming from Puerto Rico, a similar number of MLB players and pitchers especially as well. Edwin Diaz, Jose Barrios, guys who have made it to the bigs from Puerto Rico, also related to Giancarlo Citron, who was a first-round pick to the Diamondbacks, so a lot of familiarity in a pipeline to possibly get Core himself to the majors.
There's always that question of if family members are athletes as well, does that impact your trajectory growing up and how you play? So, of course, big Diamondbacks fan, so that always makes me happy to hear that there's some sort of influence there. That ball is sent out to second base. Garcia fielding it and tossing it for a nice 4-3 to Hanley. Finish out for the second out. Of course, Core helped Bethune-Cookman through the first no-hitter since 2017, back 2025 of March 29th. That no-hitter helped win him SWAC Pitcher of the Week. He also threw a career 100 strikeouts on April 5th, so an astounding season for him in 2025, a little bit of a quieter one. The second season at Stetson, but his ERA dropping in that regard. Seeing less time, though, sitting more in the reliever position, as we saw throughout his season there. That ball is sent down the right side. Hanley trying to see what happened there. He also played in the Florida Collegiate Summer League with the DeLand Suns. Helps them with a 2.49 ERA, 21.2 innings pitched in that regard. He was also the valedictorian at his high school in Florida. Foul ball coming right back on the left side.
And from what you see so far, kind of that release point really quick with the first step for Core, so really feels like that pitch is jumping in on your hands.
Swing, and they will call that the third out of this inning. The Cotuit Kettleers still sitting with a 5-0 advantage over the Lexington Blue Sox. 5 hits to the Blue Sox, one error apiece for each team. And when we come back, Liam is going to take the reins on this one, and excited to see what USC has to offer on play-by-play. We'll be right back.
Coach Rob Cooper in his first season with the Cotuit Kettleers, 30 years of coaching experience, first time getting out to the Cape Cod, of course. Transfer over, first-year head coach last season for the Kettleers, and Coach Hibbs brought them to the semifinals. The sky's the limit for Coach Cooper at Lowell Park as we are back here, 5-0 early in the bottom of the fourth inning. Kettleers home half of the inning, 5-1 for the Lexington Blue Sox as they travel into town. Once again, Liam Irvin alongside Brooke Kilgore on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. A packed week of baseball for the Kettleers as they have a scrimmage against the Martha's Vineyard squad tomorrow, which we'll talk about later. Jesse DiMaggio digs in. Talk about a guy destined for baseball, Brooke. He'll lead off the fourth inning as Hart delivers, fouled off. Family records allude to a distant relationship with Jolton Joe DiMaggio. For Jesse, an obvious star for the New York Yankees, reportedly a first cousin of Jesse's grandfather. A 1 pitch off the end of the bat, flaring towards the Blue Sox dugout and over the first base side.
You have to wonder why he said on his Westmount page, to say the least, his favorite player is Patrick Bailey.
Saw that, and also he mentors his game after Blake Trinan. And that relationship seems a little skewed there. A hitter for DiMaggio, Blake Trinan a pitcher, relief pitcher, but maybe that mentality transfers over for number 26. Once again, a scrimmage between the Blue Sox and Kettleers here at Lowell Park, a kind of opening scrimmage tradition. Dates back 30-plus years for either squad. That one slashed into left center field, falling quickly, and it'll find the outfield grass in center field. Picked up by Anderson, but a base hit for DiMaggio. His second of the day, singled in the first as well. Leadoff base runner for the Kettleers to start the bottom of the fourth inning.
Of course, we talked a little bit about Hart only having 1 inning of experience in his sophomore year, and you could see a little bit of frustration coming from him as that ball was sailing out to center field. This is the best time for guys to learn what does and what doesn't work for them as they get ready for whatever year of college that they're about to approach. College coaches really taking emphasis on sending them down with things to focus on. We talked a lot to the bullpen, and for Cotuit at least, and their biggest emphasis was, staying consistent, adding more juice, anything along those lines. So Hart really taking advantage of this opportunity to play against some of the best D1 batters, you could say, that Cotuit has to offer.
Well, and forget getting prepped for the college season upcoming. That's over 6 months away. But for this summer as well, for the Blue Sox, Hart being able to get some experience there, as again facing a lineup of 6 Division I guys leading off first base. DiMaggio, actually not a D1 guy, but a lot of talented hitters throughout this Kettleers lineup early in the season. Still guys filtering in, and Jake Hanley is one of those consistent points facing a 1-1 count to Hart's delivery. Chopped through the left side. Good play over there by Sanchez. He'll fly her to first base in time. A scoop over there by Sparky as well for out number 1. Hanley grounds out to the third baseman. Over to second base moves DiMaggio. And Hunter Warren due up next. 6-4-3 double play grounded into his first time up. Hit by a pitch his next time. That was just last inning. Again, 5-0 to score here at Lowell Park. Not really playing for the score today, more for the experience, but the Kettleers will take an early victory in their season to get some confidence under their belt. Hunter Warren, one of the best players in the Horizon League this year for Wright State. Wright State won the conference, but they had a 27-28 season, so on paper, kind of looks a little weird, but again, talk about their tough schedule. They played Georgia, they played Tennessee, Indiana, so a lot of high-level competition as that one brushes inside. DiMaggio thought about taking off towards third base. He'll stay put at second. Warren kind of struggled to hit home runs in his freshman season. He changed his swing in the offseason. He said he's getting to his back leg a lot more, and that worked out well for him this year. 8 long balls on the year. 2-0 pitch, check swing from Warren. He went around for strike number 1.
It's interesting to see, especially we mentioned it kind of when he first took the bat, of course, Similar stats from 2025 to 2026. He wanted to change his batting approach, 8 home runs in both of those seasons.
Long drive towards center field. Back heads Anderson. Still going. He'll run out of room. It'll one hop short of the fence. Into second base heads Warren. Around third goes DiMaggio. Relay to the plate will not be in time. And another run added to the board for the Kettleers off an RBI double from Hunter Warren. Where there's that backside power, Brooke, getting into that back leg and driving one to center field for a stand-up double.
It was an interesting play from the outfield, too. Anderson chucking it on back and trying to find Hart there. Interesting to see just if the wind, honestly, that's the thing that I noticed the most, is the wind was billowing, sending that play out from infield to Hart just a little bit off center.
Landon Beaver due up next with one down in the bottom of the 4th inning. Pitch to Hart, chopped towards the second baseman and through the right side, past the glove of Walsh. Again, another run comes in to score. Kettleers will tally on their lead 7-0 now as Hunter Warren heads across home plate.
Landon Beaver has just been so consistent when he's taken that batter's box as well. Of course, he started with Cotuit, but then was out in Valley League with Strasburg for most of that summer season, and they became Valley League championship, taking that championship home. It's the reason he was able to come to Cotuit at the end, was because he had finished his season a champion. He was also an all-star, leading the Valley in home runs, RBIs, had the division in slugging with an 8.28. North Division Player of the Year, and he shows for it. So the fact that Cotuit could come and retain that for a second season and utilize him at the start, positive for Cooper's staff.
We mentioned he started the last summer that is, in the Valley Conference, hit .354 with 13 bombs. Came over to the Cape Cod Collegiate Baseball League, and when he was asked about how the pitching change would affect his swing, he said, "The pitching's a bit better, but my mindset is still the same, playing baseball the right way. It worked out for Beaver." Mentioned the walk-off hit for him and being back for a full summer. He seemed excited to be back out here. The 2-0 pitch to misses outside, 3-0. Hitters count for the 5-hitter in the Kettleers lineup. We talked about Core's experience and being able to pipeline through a Stetson organization and have a lot of talent in his favor, as O will take what might be ball 4 and a 3-1 count, according to home plate umpire Mike Rabideau. Another chance for Sejono. Oh, not ripping away at a 3-1 count. I'll take a fastball on the outside half at 80 miles per hour and shot on down to first base. So O comes from South Korea, in which he played at one of the more prestigious high schools in the area. Also transferred over from New Mexico Military Institute, where he said the similarities between Korean baseball and the Military Institute were pretty uncanny. It was a military school, so you'd be in a uniform 24/7, wake up at 6 in the morning, and O has really carried that grind mentality to the Cape this season. Here's Garcia, who's got quite a few RBIs on the day. First time up was a 2 RBI double. Next time up was an RBI single, so 3 on the day for Esteban out of Boston College. With runners on first and second, another RBI opportunity. 1-0 pitch, fanned and missed. Nick Hart battling around a walk to O and a single off the bat of Beaver that played it a run. 7-0 the score. 8 hits on the board for the Kettleers. Of course, one of those belongs to a Blue Sox player. Cutting right through that one is Garcia.
Garcia really stepping up to the plate for the Kettleers. Of course, we heard a lot about him coming from Boston College and kind of the prestige of that program there. It's been really instrumental so far in this lineup.
Tapper off the end of the bat towards the second baseman, Walsh. On to first base for the second out of the inning. Well, Nick Hart doing his best to keep that run from scoring again. Already 2 coming across in the inning, but Garcia unable to record an RBI this time, and now it'll be his teammate on the Blue Sox that Hart will have to get past in the Costa. Big cut on and miss from Acosta. Brian Acosta in the New York Mets organization. Playing a little summer ball. Once again mentioned Lexington Blue Sox. Take anybody from all ages. Heading into college. Still in college. Committed to college. So a wide array of players on the squad. Acosta, however, in an 0-2 count to his teammate Hart. Hart delivers a frisbee, but just barely tapped off the end of the bat.
It's interesting to think what great experience, of course, Cotuit not having the pitching staff really getting to face someone in an MLB organization, but it's what we were talking about in terms of Lexington really being prideful and their ability to bring all levels of experience. You can go all the way from Hart, who has seen very little time in terms of his collegiate experience getting to bat against someone who has time with the New York Mets.
Hart kicks and deals. Another really good slider. Got him swinging on strike 3, but not before the Kettleers tack on 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3 hits, no errors, 2 left on base for the Kettleers. We'll head to the top of the 5th inning right here at Lowell Park. Lowell Park here in Cotuit on the Cape Cod as the Kettleers taking on a scrimmage against the Lexington Blue Sox. 7-0 the score in the top of the 5th inning, and check out that ballpark, Brooke. Beautiful Lowell Park is back in action.
It's great to see it for a 2nd season straight. Of course, a couple players saying the same thing, just the beauty of it. It's one of the very few ballparks that we have with no field lights, so a lot of games actually do end early throughout the 40-game season because of darkness, especially as you get into those July later months. A lot of teams like coming to play here because the ocean, you know, it's deceiving, but it's actually right behind those trees. You can walk to it not too far away from here. And something that the players were telling us is they love the scoreboard. It's very unique, very all-electronic, to say the least. You can play videos, you can show guys up on the roster, while a lot of teams play on baseball fields of high schools or local community colleges, so they don't have that same access that Lowell Park is blessed to have.
Truly special to have your own field in the Cape Cod Collegiate Baseball League. Since 1947, Lowell Park had a ton of upgrades in the 76 years where the Kettleers on and off have played. Grandstands all over the place, press box, and an upgrade to the press box this year as well, which we're reaping the benefits of currently.
I was just going to say the same thing, of course, fans. If you're tuning in and watching this game, you'll notice the increased quality of cameras. We have our wonderful camera directors up there. just really taking advantage of all the scenic shots and the fact that we get to operate these what seems remotely too, which is really cool. We have a shot here in the press box too. We were able to greet you at the start of this game. Just, it's great to see that the Cotuit Athletic Organization, Association comes and gives back to us as interns, and we're able to give back to the community through the work that we do.
Looking forward to giving back throughout this entire season, first scrimmage of the year. On June 7th here on the Cape Cod. Joel Core had a 1-2 count. Home plate umpire Mike Brando called it strike 3 in the dirt. They'll call it a foul ball this time. Once again, strike out, the same result. Seven 0 the score, top of the 5th inning. Joel Core out for his second inning of relief. Alex Soteropoulos started the game. Core out of Stetson College coming in relief. Sprake will step up for the Blue Sox now. Take a big cut on the first one and miss it. Struck out looking his last time up. That was to Soteropoulos. It's been 4 up, 4 down for Joel Core, the righty, out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico. The 0-1 lashed into left field, and that streak will end right here as a single lashed out from the first baseman Sprake. He'll find himself on first base. First hit given up off the arm of Joel Core.
And it's not something to be surprised by. Of course, 40 hits, every pitcher is used to that kind of regard. But when I spoke to Joel yesterday at the Mashpee Commons meet and greet, he had a lot of emphasis on really wanting to just get that consistency down. Of course, you're always going to give up hits, you're going to give up those walks, but how do you bounce back and how do you respond to those plays? Of course, baseball being such a mental sport between the pitcher and the batter, really taking advantage of any opportunity. He wants to make sure those pitches are controlled, hitting the zone as best as they can, and he's able to react to whatever comes off of them.
That one lashed out down the first baseline and foul. With something Coach Cooper harped on too as well, Brooke, from a hitter perspective, from a pitcher perspective, he said earlier today that there's obviously going to be points in the season where guys at the plate or on the mound don't have their best stuff. You go 0 for 20, so what? How do you respond in that blue-collar mentality, as Cooper mentioned? 1-1 pitch from Core, went with the slider in the dirt. Gets stopped by O behind the plate with a runner on first base.
It's a phrase that sticks out to you, blue-collar mentality. He told us when we asked him, how do you go about choosing guys or looking through lineups with your scouting team? It's guys that are really going to show up and just give it their all, regardless if you're the best in the team. You can't teach personality. You can't teach courage and perseverance and wanting to push through the hard plays. And you can tell already just by some of these guys that have stepped up both on the mound and into the box that these are guys that want to give, as much as I don't want to say it, the 110% that we're used to hearing about when it comes to athletics. It's a team early on, of course, we're going to see more guys enter through from regionals and super regionals play or just simply taking a break.
Double play opportunity. Warren Fields on to Garcia, to first base to Hanley. Twin killing double play to get Joel Core out of the inning. Gives up his first hit and responds sharply with a 6-4-3 double play to end the top of the 5th. Head to the home half of the 5th when we come back.
won the MAC championship.
Ready to go in 5, 4, 3. You guys might already be live, but 2, 1. Matt Draper on the mound for the Blue Sox, replacement arm, as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Still 7-0 the score at Lowell Park. Kettleers on top of the Lexington Blue Sox. Opening day scrimmage on this Sunday, June 7th. First taste of action here at Lowell Park. Broke some defensive replacements all over the place, but overall the Kettleers offense getting things started to start the 26th season.
Interesting to see how they've taken advantage of a lot of great opportunities. Of course, the Kettleers did lose their scrimmage to Lexington last year, and that's a situation where guys are just getting used to wooden bats again and coming off a really high level and high intensity season. And there's another opportunity for Cotuit's batting order to do the same thing here against Matt Draper. This is one of the examples of how Lexington really utilizes guys who are also out of college at this point. He finished college as a grad student back in 2023 with Mass Lowell, and actually played with Quinnipiac when they won the MAC championship back in 2019. Overall, phenomenal season for him. He pitched all 5 seasons, a 5.44 ERA cumulative, 84 games of appearance, 27 starts. He's got over 230 innings of experience.
193 innings pitched at the collegiate level at UMass Lowell. As a replacement here, the hitter will be Brennan Doyle. He's supposed to end last inning, hence the new catcher in the game for the Blue Sox behind the plate. First pitch lashed out towards the second baseman, Walsh. He'll snag it for the first out of the inning. Avoiding friendly fire is Draper. Pop out for the first out recorded. Back to the Kettleers side of things. It'll be Jesse DiMaggio out of Westmont College. 6'1", 220. He's got a brother as well who's been mashing at the high school levels. That one shot through the right side, a single for DiMaggio. He'll pick up his 3rd base hit of the day. All 3 coming on singles. Finds himself at first base once again for Jake Hanley due up.
Interesting to see for him as well, just kind of the perseverance that he's had on at that trip. Of course, you've talked about it, him being able to face really high-level teams, and even Hanley himself at some point from across the dugouts. Just takes a lot to step up to the plate, just really hammer things like that.
1-0 to Hanley. Chop to the second baseman. Double play opportunity. Landiero throws on to first base. Scoop over there at first base. Out. A double play ends the inning for the Kettleers. It'll be the first inning in 3 that the Kets go down scoreless. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, no one left on. 7-0 the score, heading to the top of the 6th. Couple replacements here for the Kettleers as Top of the 6th inning at Lowell Park is almost underway. 7-0 the score still for the Kettleers in their opening scrimmage against the Lexington Blue Sox, and it'll be the hometown kid, the local legend, Ryan Buckler on the mound entering the game. Soteropoulos goes 3 scoreless, hands it over to Core, who goes 2 scoreless. Now it's Buckler's turn.
How could you not get excited to hear the name Ryan Buckler, our PA announcer Roy, saying it in a way that you can tell the crowd was excited about? Of course, a 3-time Cotuit Kettleer, has a lot of experience under his belt in terms of Cape Cod Baseball League performance. Of course, last summer he had a 2.63 ERA, saw 27 innings, and actually started 5 games towards the end of the season. He and Peyton Manko were very close to each other in terms of that lineup. He came in July 9th against Yarmouth Dennis. 5 straight innings, only had 1 strikeout. Of course, he told me after the game he really wanted to just work and get more of those strikeouts, but was proud of how he was able to turn it over. He gave up that 1 earned run in the first, 4 scoreless after. Really just incredible work for him. Of course, he was out here in 2024 with a 6 ERA in that sense. And then fun fact, too, he also played junior hockey up to the AAA level with the Boston Advantage up until he was, at least through high school, at least.
Well, the history in the Cape as a quick defensive replacement. DiMaggio heads behind the plate. Sejono goes out towards right field. And center now, Landon Beaver. At short, Warren. Second base, Garcia. And at first, Hanley. From the Kettleers side of things, 2 defensive replacements in third and left for the Blue Sox, helping out the Kettleers. Tough fly ball in the middle of 3 fielders as Beaver calls everyone off and squeezes it for the first out.
Go ahead. One of the best times, of course, to see how some of these guys will play in different positions. Beaver, if fans may remember, was at first base for most of his career, and that's where he got that incredible walk-off hit, as some fans would probably describe it. So they're probably going to take this opportunity to try him out. The veteran knows what works in terms of seeing what works on top of Cape play and all of that, and throw some guys in the outfield and see who connects the best and what they can do once some of these guys get in later tonight.
Well, Sejono could play the outfield theoretically, not listed as an outfielder, though. Landon Beaver currently the only Kettleer in attendance at Lowell Park today, listed as an outfielder on the roster. So that will be huge come tomorrow, come beginning of the season. Obviously, a lot more players rolling in, so not very close to the final roster yet for the Kettleers as Buckler finds a beautiful breaking ball on the outside corner.
Of course, they're still awaiting names like Isaac Sturgis out of Michigan State, Hogan Denny out of Indiana as well to join his teammate Hanley. That regard, Brady Christman, who's went from Mississippi State all the way to Georgia Southern too. So a lot of guys with a lot of incredible talent backing them up in terms of the outfield regard. Not currently here just yet.
Foul ball moves the count to 2-2, 1 down, top of the 6th. Back up to the top to Walsh. Dylan, that is, Dylan Walsh for the Blue Sox. Not a run allowed today by the Kettleers pitching staff. Ryan Buckler in his first inning of relief trying to keep the same, and he keeps it on path for now. A strikeout swinging at the top of the zone. Blew it by him with a fastball at 89 miles per hour, and Buckler has the second out.
Buckler has just been one of those guys throughout the seasons who is just consistent during the summer. However, we did see at his time, Florida Atlantic, 13.97 ERA, only 2 games started and 10 appearances. Struggled a little bit in that realm of things, but once he gets back to Cotuit and Barnstable and kind of maybe has that ocean breeze with him to guide him along, he plays phenomenal. The point where he was really cemented in that starting rotation along names like Tyler Albanese, Peyton Manko last summer. He's just proved to be consistent when he wears those pinstripes.
0-1 with 2 down. That one misses to Landero. 60 years ago, Buckler's great uncle, Frank Buckler, when Cotuit won 4 championships in a row from 1961 to 1965, played for that team. Frank was actually in high school at the time. It was before the league exclusively turned college-oriented. And Frank's brother Ed also played at Cotuit for the Kettleers Teeners in the late 1960s. So a lot of history for Ryan Buckler dating back to the Kettleers. It was almost destined to be, and again to your point, Brooke, seems like he plays his best baseball on the Cape. 1-2 count. Slashed into center field. Chasing on is Beaver. He'll lay out. Does he have it? Yes, he does, according to the first base umpire. Out number 3 on a spectacular catch in center field by Landon Beaver. How about that for some center field for you, Brooke? Head to the bottom of the 6th inning here at Lowell Park. 7-0 the score. Kettleers on top. Seven nothing the score, bottom of the 6th inning. Kettleers opening day scrimmage. Liam Irvin alongside Brooke Kilgore. New arm on the round for the Blue Sox as they try to blank another 0. First 0 in 3 innings in the bottom of the 5th last inning. It'll be Luke Deschanel out of LaSalle University. That's in Massachusetts.
Newton, Massachusetts to keep it all together. Of course, his brother is also on this lineup, Jake Deschanel, as well. They both went to high school and played alongside each other out in Lowell. Sport management major, a senior. So Luke, 10 appearances last season, 8 games started. He could be a really heavy arm out there for the Blue Sox. 39.2 innings pitched, a 6.35 ERA with 20 strikeouts to accompany that. How many people can say that they play with their brother? Especially later on in the postseason, at least from what it looks like. Jake not really having too much collegiate experience, tend to typically stay with the high school end, but he also did attend LaSalle University, which is cool. So you go to college together, you play high school together, and now you get to play summer ball together.
Well, for Luke, the one on the mound currently, really a workout horse at LaSalle University. 39 2/3 innings pitched, 6.35 ERA. So when he came in the game, only 10 appearances, by the way, in those nearly 40 innings. So when Deschanel entered the game, you knew he was going to go for quite some time. That breaking ball misses outside.
April 2nd against Elms in a 5-0 win. He did 7 innings of time for the Lasers. I love that name. It's fun to see all the different colleges, too, in terms of Lexington's roster. Guys you may not hear from different universities very often.
Sky-high pop fly into right field. McElroy chases in. He had trouble with one earlier. This time he'll corral it for out number 1. Landon Beaver, following his spectacular catch in center field, is due up now. And this will be the last half inning.
Wow.
As just mentioned in the opening scrimmage. Again, trying to get guys tuned up, get a feel for things out here at Lowell Park, and wrapping things up. A big swing and a miss on a 67-mile-per-hour breaking ball off the hands of Deschanel.
Of course, it's great experience for both sides to really take pitches from the best arms that they can field in this moment, of course. And you don't want to overwork your team too much. Of course, we're headed to Martha's Vineyard tomorrow to play some more scrimmage baseball before the season gets started in less than a week, if you can believe it. We're already at that point in the season.
Chopper towards the shortstop. Landero backhand. Nice play over to first base, but past the outstretched hands of Spark at first. Landon Beaver will reach. Probably would be ruled an infield single there. Tough play from Landero in the hole. Getting back to things. To your point, Brooke, the schedule for the week for the Kettleers. Today, obviously, facing off against the Lexington Blue Sox. Tomorrow, a scrimmage on the Vineyard against the Sharks at 5 p.m. scheduled for right now. And then that welcome picnic on Friday the 12th, opening day on the 13th, right here at Lowell Park. Saint-Jean due up next. Last half inning right here at Lowell Park. 7-0 the score again. That hit recorded for Beaver was the 10th of the day for the Kettleers. Hitting the ball well and not a run allowed on the mound yet. Oh, with a solid swing up the middle. Sends it right back where it came from. A single into center for the South Korean native to find himself on first base. Runners on first and second.
O proves to be a consistent force in addition to his, university play and performance. Summer ball is also his thing, too. He was in Ashboro last season. 45 games played, 52 hits, 4 home runs, 41 RBI. He made the All-Star team, and he led the league second overall in RBIs for that matter. He's a force to reckon with, and Lexington is unfortunately facing that right now.
Time called by the replacement catcher, Rosborough. Not often do you see a guy record an at-bat for a team and then go out and catch for the other team, but that's what this scrimmage at Lowell Park today signifies. That would be, of course, Rosborough behind the plate currently. O off first, off second is Beaver. Esteban Garcia stares at a ball on the outside corner.
Today's scrimmage is also really an emphasis on tradition, like you were mentioning earlier on in the game. This is a chance for, yes, the guys to try out their new tactics, try throwing guys in the outfield, and seeing how they all gel together, but also appreciating the fact that this is decades long of tradition coming to Lowell Park and getting to experience both sides of the plate. Both managers, of course, getting to know each other for the first time, with Cooper this being his first season, but Hibbs was just as excited to welcome Lexington onto the field last year.
And failed to mention one of the most interesting perspectives in this game as well. One of the new assistant coaches for the Kettleers this season, Michael O'Brien, down there in the Kettleers dugout right now, joining Cotuit for the first time. He's actually on the Lexington Blue Sox roster, so he'll face off against his team from a coaching perspective now through a complete game the other day for the Blue Sox. A lot of relationship between the two teams and building the beginning blocks of the season for the Kettleers.
You mentioned new coaching staff. This coaching staff is completely brand new to Lowell Park. Of course, Hibbs brought in a wealth of talent from people he knew. Cooper doing the same thing in terms of their pitching coaches, their on-field coaches. Our bullpen has talked really highly of the work Kevin Curtin has done so far with them, and they've only known each other for about a week now. So a lot of positives. Looking forward to seeing what decisions they make in terms of throwing guys around in the lineup, and we're already seeing them doing brief hints of that out there right now.
Well, Esteban will take ball 4 and head down to first base. A 5-pitch walk for the second baseman. Due up next, Acosta. First pitch, a breaking ball in the dirt. That's been tricky for Acosta to pick up today. He punched out last time on a breaking ball as well. Deschanel knew that. First pitch, breaking ball in the zone. 0-1-1 down, bottom of the 6th inning. Bases juiced for the Kettleers. It's a Blue Sox player at the plate trying to provide an RBI opportunity.
Cotuit has only seen a couple of grand slams here in Lowell Park. Jack Natilli, catcher for the Cats, and also a CCBL All-Star last season. I believe was the last to do it. It's an infield grand slam as well.
We'll have to wait as Acosta goes down swinging on strikes. Brooke, you ever seen a Blue Sox player playing for the Kettleers hit a grand slam?
That feels like a riddle. I don't know how to answer that. No, I have not. To call former broadcasters Chris Albright and Connor Shue and see if maybe they remember those times as well, but it's a very rare instance to see.
Well, there's one out to play with for the backstop, Brendan Doyle, to try and see if he can do that. Bases loaded, all with Kettleers players. On third base is Beaver. He's singled. Followed that up with a single on second base, and Esteban Garcia. A base on balls on first base. Deschanel's pitch chopped to the second baseman, ranging over his Walsh. He'll have plenty of time on to first base. And just like that, getting out of the jam with the bases loaded. 7-0 the score. Looks like the Kettleers will head back out there for the top of the 7th inning. 7-0 when we come back. Ryan Buckler back out on the mound in the top of the 7th inning as the Kettleers playing some extra baseball in what we thought might have been the last half inning. Who knows in today's scrimmage? We've got some Blue Sox playing for the Kettleers. Nonetheless, 7-0 Cotuit on the scoreboard right now. 11 hits for the Kettleers and no runs on 2 hits for the pitching staff and defense. Ryan Buckler had a scoreless 1-2-3 inning last time out. It'll be McElroy due up for the Blue Sox. Beautiful two-seam running back on the outside corner. Might have been some breaking stuff there, actually, for Buckler. Pop up towards center field. Chasing back is Beaver. He had to open the hips briefly and snags it. 1 down to start the top of the 7th. When asked about playing for Cotuit, Ryan Buckler with so much experience coming from nearby, just 11 miles away, he said he remembers coming to those games and running after foul balls. So it's cool to have his family in the stands today. Handful of fans in attendance today for this opening scrimmage. Sure, it'll be loaded up 6 days from now for the opening day for the Cotuit Kettleers, as they'll take on the Wareham Anglers. One count. Sawed off the hands towards the Kettleers dugout. From the coaching staff perspective, for Coach Rob Cooper joining alongside him, Kevin Curtin, the current pitching coach for Tufts University, will be the one dealing with the arms this season. Brooks Beto worked alongside Rob Cooper for Team USA in 2011, 2012, 2016. Luke Broadhorst, assistant hitting and fielding infield coach at Coast Guard. Kelton Little, a familiar face for Cooper at Ave Maria. Scott McKeon, and then talked about Michael O'Brien, a little current pitcher for Tufts.
Well, you have to appreciate Kevin Curtin switching sides, kind of coming from enemy territory. He was with Bourne for 4 seasons and helped that program really launch to getting 3 championships and 4 straight division titles. Of course, that might bring a sour taste to Cotuit fans. I can tell you the intern group last year was not happy when Bourne took that 2nd consecutive semifinal win away from Cotuit. But of course, you have a championship team. You got to take advantage of some of the people who help make that happen.
Quickly 2 down for Buckler as he punches out Anderson. Lisco due up next. Off the hands, fisted towards the shortstop. It'll be a tough play for Warren onto first base. Not in time. Buckler stayed put on the mound, a situation where usually the pitcher tries to get out of the way. That time might have been the only play for Buckler to get back there. Nonetheless, Warren charging in on it. About a half step late into first base.
Interesting play there, too, by Warren, really waving off Garcia, who was also trying to pull in and help with that. Warren really taking advantage of that step that he had on Garcia and trying his best to make the play.
It'll be the first base runner for the Blue Sox and 6 batters. Lisco on first following the infield single. One 0 off the hands of Buckler. A nice breaking ball dropped into Pasiak, who takes that for strike 1. That feels to be when Buckler has his stuff going. That breaking ball landing for a strike. 1-1 misses outside. And to your point, Brooke, the number comparison between the Cape Cod and FAU, really quite appalling, honestly. 10 pitching appearances this year, 2 starts at FAU. Career high in innings and strikeouts on March 10th, but a flip onto second base for the fielder's choice. We'll have to talk about that next inning as we'll head to the bottom frame of the 7th inning right here at Lowell Park. Bottom of the 7th inning, Kettleers have some more chances to tack on some early season at-bats, get their stuff going. 7-0 the score, 11 hits for the Kettleers over the Lexington Blue Sox. New arm in the game for the Blue Sox, Josh Becker, will face off against the top of the Kettleers lineup.
Yeah, Becker is one of those rare instances, spent all 5 seasons, including his grad year, UMass Lowell, so something in today's transfer portal world you rarely see someone sticking to a program and reap the rewards of holding true and being loyal to that team. He holds their career record of 253 strikeouts, set that one in 5 years of play.
What a tough hop off the backside of Becker. And for Landero, he was trying to get that one going. So much side spin on the ball. off of Becker, an infield single for DiMaggio. That's DiMaggio's 4th hit of the day. He's been poking the ball out there today.
Get this, Becker lists on his website his favorite teams include the Boston Red Sox, stay with me, New England Patriots, Bruins, and the New York Mets.
Not sure how that works out.
I'm not sure how either. He's from Massachusetts as well, from Burlington, so maybe it's a family connection of some sort, but those two teams rarely share positives with each other.
Bet you Esteban Garcia might have something to say about that. From Queens, New York, the second baseman is. Jake Hanley due up, 2-0 count. Rolled into a 4-6-3 double play. That one down the left field line, chasing on, still going is Pasiak, and he catches it for the second out. Well, as Hanley flies out, one of the more interesting stories on the Kettleers lineup for Hanley, he had a huge decision heading into high school. He's from Mason, Ohio, ended up going to Mason High School, but it was a big push for recruiting across the country for him to go to a private school. At the time, Kurt Bly, his soon-to-be high school coach at the public high school, Mason, asked him what his expectations were for the high school season. He said, "Coach, I just want to make JV." And Hanley was sitting at 6'4", 220 pounds. And Coach Bly said, "Son, I think you need to set your expectations a little higher." And since then, the first baseman has really been a product of his frame, his ability, his humbleness as he makes his way to the Cape again for the second season. This time, though, Hunter Warren due up. Time called at the plate.
I wonder if that was just a genuine unawareness of his height and his ability, or if that was him being humble and trying to give opportunities to those who deserved them. But of course, I would have loved to have made JV immediately coming into something like that, but being promoted to varsity is always a benefit.
Could have been a mix of both. He was placed in the lineup his first game as a freshman in high school for Kurt Bly, and first at bat, they were facing a pretty solid team, a Division I commit on the mound, and Hanley doubled off the right center field wall, waltzed into second base, took off his leg guard, no celebration, no nothing, and Kurt Bly kind of knew from there that that was the type of kid that he was. Played every day since then for Mason, played every game for Indiana as well. Warren deep drive to center field, chasing back is Anderson, circling the baseball, fighting the sun with the shades on, and finds a catch for the second out. Two for three Landon Beaver due up now. 2 singles on the day. A fly out to the center fielder and a walk. Scored his first time up. It's been back-to-back shutout innings for the Blue Sox pitching staff with 2 separate pitchers. Now this one the third in 3 innings. As Becker works towards home, crushed towards deep right center field. If it's fair, it's gone, but it's going to hook foul. Beaver got into that one on a hanging breaking ball and almost put it into the trees in right field. Oh, 1-2 down, bottom of the 7th inning. Jesse DiMaggio leads off first base. Becker works toward home plate, and that one lined off the glove of the second baseman Walsh into right field. Staying put at second base is DiMaggio. Another hard hit ball off the wood bat of Beaver.
Familiar situation for the Cotuit offense here, and who better to throw up than O at the base. You've got 2 guys sitting on, so curious if he's going to rip out another one of those doubles that we saw earlier in the game.
2 down, bottom of the 7th. Runners on first and second. 7-0 the score. Cotuit on top of the Lexington Blue Sox. Becker towards home, misses outside. Esteban Garcia on deck. Sergiano up at the plate. The 1-0 pitch. High and wide again. 82 miles per hour on that arm side. We talked about Becker, 6'1", 185, back in his graduate student days at UMass Lowell. It was back in 2023. Been getting tuned up with the Blue Sox. Off the hands of O, down the first baseline, fighting at his spark. Try to make it over the shoulder to catch. Would have been spectacular. Pardon me, that's Lisco over there at first base now. There you see Coach Bedeau, third base coach. He had 10 years of minor league experience. Orioles, Rays. Played in AAA for 7 seasons. 2-1. Kind of a hesitation swing from Mo right there. Looks back towards the umpire with a kind of smirk on his face. Good pitch from Becker there.
We got to talk to O earlier today and ask him a couple questions about just kind of his play and what he's most excited for this entire season. We asked him one of his biggest inspirations. He just said me. I think it's me. And it's that kind of swagger and confidence that you carry with you when you carry so many championships and first in the league appearances and all that kind of stuff. Really, just that swagger that Cotuit really needs to keep it going.
Full count. Runners take off on the pitch, and it's by O's bat. Becker works around 2 runners on base. And another scoreless inning for the Blue Sox. Got to credit their pitching staff. That'll be 1 hit, 2 left on base, no errors. 7-0 the score. Top of the 8th. Coming up next. Buckler remains on the mound in the top of the 8th inning. Kettleers still on top 7-0 despite being blanked with 0 the past 3 innings. Brooke, beautiful day. Some rain on the forecast. Dodged here at Lowell Park, and the sun has been shining all day for the Kettleers as they take on the Lexington Blue Sox.
It's definitely a different situation about a week ago when you checked the radar. It looked like it was going to be raining completely through the time we were playing this scrimmage, so happy to see some sun, especially as we get ready to go to Martha's Vineyard tomorrow to play the Sharks.
Spark due up to lead off the top of the 8th for the Blue Sox. Still looking for their first run. 3 hits on the day. One of those was from Lisco last half inning for the Blue Sox. And one of them was from Spark due up at the plate. 1-1 pitch, missed outside. 2-1 as Buckler remains in the game. Talk about it for the Kettleers program, so many notable alumni. But one of those, Nick Gonzalez, who was a member of the 2019 Cape Cod Collegiate Baseball League champion for the Kettleers, inducted into the Hall of Fame this offseason for the Cape Cod Collegiate Baseball League. Cape League Hall of Famer for Gonzalez. Spent 2 seasons at Cotuit out of New Mexico State. He was the Cape League MVP in 2019. 351 batting average, 451 OBP, and 773 slug percentage. Video game numbers. That one a flare off the end of the bat. Second hit of the day for Spark as he deposits one into right center field.
Interesting to see as this game continues to progress. Lexington starting to show some signs of life in terms of the hitting areas. We've seen only a couple base runners so far. As you mentioned, there was only 1 out of 6 batters beforehand. So interesting to see how Cotuit might hold up towards the end of games. They start off strong, keep it going. You have to finish through all 9 innings.
That'll be a point of emphasis, especially as the season 6 days away. Heading into today, it was 301 days since the last time Cotuit had played baseball. That was, of course, the 3rd game of the semifinals against Bourne in the CCBL playoffs last year. 1-0 count to Sanchez. Fastball finds the corner at 86 miles per hour, 1-1.
Talk about some notable alumni, too. Of course, they're spread all across. The most recent Kettleer to make his MLB debut, Tommy Troy, for the D-backs. So that makes my heart really happy to hear that Arizona has another good one out there. He had a phenomenal first game, getting runners on the board and himself out to at least second base in his first appearance at bat. And, of course, we have the draft coming up here soon. Names like Jaron Avincula, Joey Volchko. Of course, we had a couple guys from the current team last year go. Mason Davenport was one of those names out to Toronto. Just a lot to be excited about. It gets real really quick that these are some of the best players in the league.
We talked to some fans, coaches. It kind of felt like heading into the summer, so much anticipation for the Kettleers and for baseball being back in the CCBL. And kind of didn't feel real for a while. It was 150 days away, 100 days away, all of a sudden. Back on the Cape, back at Lowell Park. It was the 3rd strikeout recorded from Buckler there for the first out of the inning. 0-1 now, facing off against Rosborough. Taken outside.
Now you talk a lot about the distance of how far away the season felt for the majority of it. Of course, coming out of last season, the heartbreaker that we all witnessed in that second round against Bourne, some of us sitting there, returning, of course, thinking, oh my goodness, the season feels so far away. We just finished, and I woke up this morning, and here we are. Feels like it absolutely just blew by.
The season will start for most Saturday, as the Cape Cod Collegiate Baseball League schedule released for all teams. Rosters still being released shortly. 6 days away. Three-one count for Rosborough. Transition to catcher following his 2 at-bats with the Kettleers. And some field time. Does he have the green light? He does. A chopper to third base over the bag. It'll be foul, says the home plate umpire, Mike Rabideau. Count will move full.
And we'll have to see, because like you said, some teams still holding on to their rosters, Cotuit being one of them. So this is a great opportunity for the community and also the league to get a first look at how these players are doing. But many other teams like Wareham starting to post and release their roster and get set and ready for their season that's starting to come up here soon. So we'll have to see, of course, teams and players still making finalizations, still getting guys to come in from super regionals or any sort of break that they may have been taking up until this point. So what we see on opening day may not be the team that you're seeing right now.
It's kind of the game that every coach in the CCBL, something that Rob Cooper will have to deal with, head coach for Cotuit this season, as kind of the progression of players throughout the CCBL. Just so much going on. Guys on certain limits, pitch counts, playing counts, couple injuries here and there. So a rotation of lineups throughout the whole summer. That one runs inside, and that'll be 5 straight balls off the fingers of Buckler. 2-0 count back to the top of the lineup for Walsh. He accounts for one of the 4 hits, and this will be your first visit of the season for Coach Curtin.
We'll take a look to see, of course, this is my reminder to buy binoculars after this game. We do have an arm warming up in bullpen. Trying to take a look to see who that could be for our end of things. Of course, we have a lot of arms to potentially be using. See if we can spot that on our end over here. Looks like Jonathan Edelman warming up in the bullpen. One of the star returners for the Cotuit Kettleers. Only 3 to 4 guys really making that return. He was phenomenal for Cotuit, really stepping in when we needed him most to come. Of course, one of the more notable games that he played in was a game against Chatham, July 16th. He was a closer in a 10-inning, 4-2 win. Of course, all of us were holding our breath that entire game. He came in, bases loaded in the 9th. He really told me after that game he was emphasizing staying pitch by pitch early with that slider that we've mentioned a couple of times this game. That win actually helped put Cotuit first in the Western Division. So he has a lot to notice, of course. Coming out of Bucknell, spent his junior season there. He was actually hurt for the majority of that season and really got to get himself going once again in that Patriot League Championship Series against Holy Cross.
Seems to me, Brooke, that an emphasis for the Kettleers is on landing first pitch breaking balls for strikes and then that opening up the count. Right now, Buckler's struggling a little bit, 3-1 count, and another walk back-to-back for the Kettleers righty. Bases will be juiced. That'll be just the first time that 2 Blue Sox players have reached base, let alone 3, as the base is loaded for the 2-hitter Landero. And another mound visit for Coach Cooper. That means that Edelman will be entering this contest with the bases loaded and 1 down. Top of the 8th inning, 7-0 the score. Coach Rob Cooper, you'll see him head into your frame right there, number 55. The storied coach will head out and take out Buckler. We'll have you covered with Edelman when we return. thumbs up. He's ready to go. Tough situation to head into for the Kettleers relief pitcher. Bases juiced with one down in the top of the 8th inning. Kettleers trying to stay scoreless as they have all day. 7-0 the score. Cotuit on top of the Lexington Blue Sox. Opening scrimmage for them. And the first real opportunity for the Blue Sox offense as the 2-hitter Landero steps up and faces the tall righty, 6'7", 235, out of Bucknell University.
Edelman is a force to reckon with, and he is known for that closing position, at least with Cotuit fans. We mentioned earlier just how he came in and helped get Cotuit out of that Chatham jam to help push them to first in the West. Of course, he came in Game 3 against Holy Cross for relief, walked 3 batters in the top of that 5th. Of course, he was rehabbing from shoulder issues. He's trying his best to get through, of course, towards the start of that season. He's really consistent, 3 ERA, 27 innings pitched so far, 19 hits given up, 13 runs, only 9 of them earned. Off of him, the season before that, 2.65 ERA.
Fly ball in the infield fly rule cold. And making another play for the Kettleers, Brennan Doyle over there at third base, Blue Sox player. Those just tuning in again, some Blue Sox players having to replace some Kettleers fielders as only 6 position players currently on the Cape for Cotuit. 2 down, Edelman gets a big first out, now the ability to get an out at any square base. The delivery misses low on a breaking ball. McElroy, the last chance for the Blue Sox to get a run in the top of the 8th.
Edelman has one of those advantages. He has a 6'8" release height on that edge and throwing consistently in the upper 80s on a lot of his pitches. They have his changeup clocked at 85.6 miles per hour, his cutter 91, sinker 92, and the sweeper at 83. That was before this past season, so those numbers definitely going up. He just has that killer horizontal movement that you need on a lot of those pitches, and a 6'8" release height is just detrimental to batters facing him.
Talk about him entering in that closing position. Is that one a cutter at 91? 1-2 count, 2 down. It's intimidating from a hitter to step up to the plate. 6'7" relief pitcher comes in the game throwing 91 miles per hour. Edelman looking to evade the jam. 1-2 count, 2 down, bases loaded. The kick and the pitch. Catches the corner, strike 3. And the Kettleers work out of a jam and avoid a bases-loaded situation for the Blue Sox. Insurance on the horizon for the possibility for the Kettleers, bottom of the 8th inning, when we return. From Luke to Jake, the Deschanels brothers, that is, for the Blue Sox. will hand the ball off from one to the other. An inning separated between the two of them, but the pitching staff for the Blue Sox has been productive. 3 zeros on the Kettleers. Mismatch offense. Some Blue Sox players, some Kettleers players. The opening scrimmage, 7-0 here at Lowell Park in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Kettleers looking for some possible insurance. Getting some more at-bats as Esteban Garcia will lead things off in the bottom of the 8th.
First real experience we have with Jake Desno, just because it's, you see his LinkedIn. It says he's on the team. We're still trying to find stats on that. The most up-to-date stats I can find are from his JV year at Lowell High School, 2021. 2.1 ERA, 1 appearance.
Sounds pretty productive to me, Brooke. Esteban Garcia, a couple of RBIs today, 3 of them on 2 hits, a double down the left field line. That one rolled foul down the first baseline. A walk, a ground out. Productive day for the Boston College product as he faces Deschanel for the first time. 7-0 the score for those just tuning in. Bottom of the 8th inning, 7-0. Scrimmage here in the opening game at Lowell Park of the 26th season. Trying to get some reps for either team. You're going to see some Blue Sox hitters step up to the plate. Technically on the Kettleers side of things. Trying to get some experience for anyone. Clubbed into center field, chasing on. Still going and laying out. A good play by Anderson in center field, robbing Garcia of a hit.
Seen a couple of fully layout plays. Landon Beaver had one at center field just a couple innings ago. So good to see some diving action there on the field. But you talk about Garcia, of course, this season not so much. But as a sophomore, he had 4 multi-RBI games. UConn in there, California. Both times they played them back-to-back days and out at Virginia. He's just consistent in that regard, and having 2 seasons under his belt, he did not appear in a game as a freshman for the Eagles. So Garcia really working hard to make a name for himself out there in BC.
Battled through an injury this season. Garcia was a 12U home run derby champ at Nationals Park. It was All-Star weekend. Set up the mini fences about 200 feet away, and Garcia topped all the 12U hitters from the left side. Acosta hitting for the Kettleers on the Blue Sox. Technically, bit of confusion there. He'll face a 2-2 count with 1 down in the bottom of the 8th. Deschanel's delivery. Punches him out on the slider. Good one on the outside half. Acosta has struggled with that all day. Got him on strikes one more time. Second out recorded. And another Blue Sox guy stepping up, Brendan Doyle. With DiMaggio on deck. Finally back to the Kettleers side of things following the 2 hitters. Kettleers have hit 8 in the lineup today. 6 of those have been Kettleers players, and 2 a rotating mix between the Blue Sox. Kind of a live AB situation, if you will, for the Blue Sox here. 1-1, 2 down, bottom of the 8th. Chop towards the second baseman, ranging over his Walsh, and he bobbles it a second. Still some time. It'll not be enough. Walsh rushed it a little bit there. Ranged to his second and then had to quickly try to find the ball and get to it. Couldn't, so it'll lead for a Kettleer to get an at-bat in the bottom of the 8th inning as DiMaggio is due up. .4:15 and counting, p.m. that is, here at Lowell Park. Started at 2. Pretty quick game between the 2 squads. Pitching staff for the Kettleers has faced well. Edelman just worked out of a bases-loaded jam with 1 down. Good sign for the bullpen and for relief for the Kettleers heading into the 26th season. Rossborough thought about throwing back to first base. Decided to pump fake it. DiMaggio has 4 hits on the game. He's 4 for 5, grounded out his second time up. All the rest of the time, it has been singles. Kind of on par with how his season went, besides a bit of added power at Westmont College for DiMaggio. Following an all-conference season, smoked .309 this season. Bit of a downtick in production from his 25 year, but still 55 hits, 13 homers, 43 ribbies. .3-1 count for the hottest hitter in the Kettleers lineup today. Does DiMaggio have the green light? He does. He clubs it way foul, but crushed down the left field line. Full count, which means that Doyle over at first base will get a head start on the pitch. Deschanel looking for another scoreless inning on the Kettleers offense. Runner takes off, slashed into left field. In front in a short hop provided by Pasiak onto second, staying put. Another single for DiMaggio. He is a machine. That's 5 hits for number 26 at first base, Brooke.
It's an incredible start to the season. I mean, you look back at how Cotuit fared against Lexington just last year. Similar situation, swing or singles, walks. Cotuit loading its own bases, especially with only 1 out in multiple innings. It's really forcing Lexington to throw balls that maybe they're not as comfortable with and trying to make plays. And of course, we talked about it. We don't know too much about Jake out there on the mound. So we're curious to see how he handles this pressure.
Jake versus Jake here. Hanley and Deschanel. Deschanel on the mound, Hanley in the batter's box. With the red elbow guard, the red batting gloves, the red bat. Hoosier red for Indiana. Still searching for his first hit of the day. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run back in the 3rd inning. But otherwise, 3 pop outs and 2 ground outs, including one being a double play for the lefty. 2-1, 2 down, bottom of the 8th inning. Runners on first and second, and a looping breaking ball at 62 miles per hour taken outside.
Interesting to see how Hanley fares with some of these pitches being thrown at him. Of course, trying to guesstimate where Jake might be putting some of those breaking balls or see if he tries out something new there. Takes the swing. Probably not what he's used to at that Indiana level.
Well, it's something that you and I talked about earlier, Brooke, but getting adjusted again to some slower pitching. Runners lead off first and second. They'll get a head count with a full count and 2 down. Bottom of the 8th, Hanley smokes one to right field. Back at the track is McElroy. It's off the wall. Hanley gets his first hit, and he'll pick up an RBI. Coming around to score is Doyle. There goes Jake Hanley from Indiana. A stand-up double to extend the lead, 8-0. Some insurance in the bottom of the 8th for Cotuit.
And that's what comes with being patient, taking advantage of watching some of these balls fly by you, get a read for what the pitcher's trying to give you. He just takes an absolute slugger to that. It was a phenomenal ball out to the side. We couldn't tell where it was going to bounce. Just off the fence and allowing that double to be put in play.
Brooke, that flag's blowing out towards center field. Thought that might have had a chance to get out of there as Warren smokes one down the left field line. Chasing on and unable to reach up to it is Pasiak. 2 runs will come into score. Into second heads Warren. Thinking about third, he'll stay put. Hands up in left field for Pasiak. 2 more plated for the Kettleers. 9-0 the score now.
Interesting change of events. The Cotuit lineup being a little quieter as we've reached these later innings in the game and just absolutely exploding with experience so far in that regard. Guys just starting to come to life, and this is exactly how it went last summer against Lexington with the Kets walked away with a 14-2 win over Lexington. Just absolutely rolling in those later innings, especially in the 8th.
Kettleers have had a runner on base in every inning, but hadn't scored since the 4th. They tack on 3 in the bottom of the 8th and make the score 9-0. Hunter Warren, a guy who had a lot of production at Wright State throughout the year. 8 home runs, 12 doubles, picks up his second of the day for the Kettleers.
Well, and the question starts to become, at what point are we going to see guys just taking swings on whatever they can get? This game is just for fun, keeping things loose, so might as well take some shots while you still can before you face the real D1 arms, especially at Wareham, the prestige that they carry in their bullpen.
Yeah, the question kind of begs, obviously, want to get back out there, get back with the wood bats, get into live at-bats, but maybe a bit of an adjustment to the slower pitching and then having to go back, but some good experience will be had tomorrow in Martha's Vineyard for Cotuit. They'll travel on the ferry and take on the Sharks.
You excited for your first Martha's Vineyard trip?
Couldn't be more, Brooke. I've been out there before, but first time seeing a baseball game, so interested to see. Full count for Beaver. 3-2, 2 down, bottom of the 8th inning. Warren leads off second, following his 2 RBI double. 16 hits for the Kettleers combined today. Deschanel's pitch misses way outside. Warren will take what is given and get on to third base, and Beaver throws his bat a base on balls. Out comes Rick DeAngelis. Might be the end of the day for Deschanel. He's thrown quite a bit of pitches on the mound. Looks like it will be, as the ball handed off. Relief pitcher. Getting ready. We'll have you covered with who it is when we return. 9-0 Kettleers. Chris Winnett, the right-hander from the Boston College club team from New Haven, Connecticut. He's got a tall task ahead of him in Sejan O. Runners on first and third following a walk that moved Warren over to third base following his 2 RBI double. 9-0 the score, bottom of the 8th. That one taken outside, first pitch. First pitching a change of the day for Rick DeAngelis, and his pitching staff had done a pretty good job. Put up 3 zeros on the board for the Blue Sox against a heavy-hitting Kettleers offense, but unable to hold them off for too long. 2 down in the bottom of the 8th now, and trying to work out of it is Winnett. Tapped off the end of the bat, swinging away on a 2-0 count is O.
Winat has 3 years of experience with the Lexington Blue Sox, according to his LinkedIn. He's played with several Division I athletes in that Intercity Baseball League and was awarded Rookie of the Year in 2023 when he first started with the Blue Sox. And then at Boston College with their club team, he was a starting pitcher, an executive board member, secretary, and he was also their pitching coordinator.
A little early on that one is O. Really speaks to the Intercity League and how diverse the perspectives are of players. Awesome to see. 2-2 down. Lifted into left field, still going back and chasing in for out number 3 is Pasiak. Side retired for the Blue Sox. They strand 2, but not before 3 more coming to score for Cotuit. 9-0, top of the 9th. Will Edelman head back out? Might be a pitcher for the Blue Sox. We'll see how things fare when we come back. It's been a game of firsts, Brooke. 10-0 the score in the top of the 9th inning, and why not? The Blue Sox players have been playing for the Kettleers all day. Why not just throw one up on the mound there, as Chris Winat will stay on the mound, just avoided a jam for the Blue Sox, but Kettleers will take the field, and Winat will face off against his teammates. That one crushed into right center field. Chasing on is Beaver. He'll run out of room. On to second is Anderson, and a double, the first extra base hit of the day for the Blue Sox.
Interesting to see how immediately a turn of the tides, I guess you could call it, on that play out there. Well, not 3-year veteran of the Lexington Blue Sox. Boston College, one of the stats that I can find from 2023, 1-1 on the season, 2 games played, 12 innings pitched for him out there. Interesting to see how Lexington might take advantage of this moment to just add some runs to the board for them.
A.J. Lisco due up, runner on second base. Bullpen cleared out and left. Should be the last half in the top of the 9th. Playing a full 9. Pretty impressive from this scrimmage. Only 6 position players for the Kettleers today. Pretty full bullpen, 9 arms. But again, more expected throughout this week. Couple coming tonight, couple coming tomorrow. We'll have an updated roster for you tomorrow. Faking the catch is Beaver. Another single in a center for Lisco, being held at third. A good throw into the plate, cut off by Hanley. Beaver does his part, but Winat with runners on first and third. And Pasiak due up.
It's giving that outfield some good experience, probably for the first time really this game, seeing a lot of action. We've seen a couple singles driven down the center line, but never really reaching the outfield like they have been these past couple of hits.
Facing some high leverage arms. When that brings the speed down just a little bit for you, for the Blue Sox. Pacey 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a fielder's choice. Looking for his first hit of the day. He's committed to Tufts. So again, a mix of commitments of pro guys, a little bit of everything for the Blue Sox. That one a chopper, double play opportunity for second. Garcia steps on the bag himself in time to first base. But by about a half step, Pacey gets in there. Garcia might have wanted to flip that one to second base to Warren, decided to take it himself instead. Nonetheless, the first out of the top of the ninth recorded. First run comes in to score for the Blue Sox.
It's an interesting play. Trying to see where it was, but Garcia had the chance to toss it on over and chose to step on it himself, and had he tossed it, there probably would have been a second more time to throw it over to Hanley on first.
New arm will enter the game. We'll stay here. Why not? As Kyle Murray enters the game. 9-1 the score. Brookow was taught from the second base position, if you have the opportunity to take it yourself, usually you opt for that. So Garcia right there might have wanted to do that as a new arm in the game.
And I'll believe you, because I played softball for maybe half a summer. So I was not taught that same level. But yeah, it was interesting to see kind of the decision making there. Cotuit could have had the 2 out in that situation. Looking at Kyle Murray, not the football player, not the Arizona Cardinal. Just in case you were...
Former Arizona Cardinal.
Former, yes. Oh my goodness, I'm so used to him being stated there. Carson Beck getting ready to take over the Cardinals out there.
Well, for the righty, Kyle Murray at Brandeis University. Take it away, Brooke.
Yeah, we're taking a look at his pitching stats. He's got 3 seasons out there. His ERA dropping significantly throughout the 3. Started in 2024, 14, 67, and 15 appearances. Had about 15 innings pitched there. Throughout the time, it jumped to 1543 in 2025, and then now down to 415 just this past season.
Play returns, runner on first base, 1 down, top of the 9th inning. Check swing sword comes around for Sanchez. Once again, a Blue Sox pitcher taking on the Kettleers fielders behind him and getting some innings to work with. As Manny Sanchez is up. That pitch, a good breaking ball on the outside corner, got him fooled again. 2 good ones from Kyle Murray.
It was a quiet year for Murray in terms of hits and allowing these earned runs to come through. His batting average while being faced also dropped by almost 100 in that regard. Went from 333 to 364 to 294.
There goes Murray with his first strikeout picked up. Strikes out Sanchez. And up comes the final hope for the Blue Sox, Rossborough.
Rossborough definitely being a team player for both sides today.
He had 2 at-bats with the Kettleers earlier in the game. Then switched behind the plate and caught the last 4 with 2 down, following a single from Lisco. Inning started with an Anderson double. Lisco singled, and then Pacey, a fielder's choice, double play opportunity. Searching for one more out in the opening scrimmage are the Kettleers with a Blue Sox pitcher on the mound. Go figure. 2-0 pitch misses high. 3-0 the count.
Rossborough in high school found out he was starting the first game of the season as a freshman. Told a reporter he doesn't even remember anything from that game. He just wanted to keep showing up and doing his absolute best, and I feel like that's the definition of him in today's game.
It's kind of what you hear from a lot of players in big-time moments. Don't even remember what happened in the moment, just straight adrenaline. And he deserves a walk. A base on balls and a 3-1 count. Moves runners to first and second. And Kyle Murray following a strikeout. 5-pitch walk. So to start this game, it was Alex Soteropoulos in from relief, Joel Core. Then Ryan Buckler got some experience on the mound, and Jonathan Edelman came out in what would have been possibly a 3-out save situation, 4-out save situation, and only pitched the back half of that inning, trying to keep his arm fresh. Dealt with an injury the other summer. That one fouled on the first baseline. 0-2 count, 1 strike away are the Kettleers from picking up a interesting back and forth scrimmage at Lowell Park. It's just good to be back out on the field with the lines painted. Oh, 2 for Murray. Taken low by Walsh. Walsh had the first hit of the day, and he's actually reached 3 out of the 4 times. Reached on an error in the 3rd, a walk in the 8th. Finds himself back up at the top of the lineup. 1-2. Sliced foul on the left field line. '79th season at Lowell Park for the Kettleers. Coming up in 6 days, going for their 18th Cape Cod League Baseball Championship. 1-2 with 2 down. Walsh thought about it, held off from the left side.
And it'll be a great chance to see how Rob Cooper can put together a team, but also how this Cotuit season will go. Of course, fans can remember the 14-game losing streak Cotuit sat in at the start of the season before flipping it around and earning themselves a spot in that semifinal in the West Division.
Liner over the head and glove of Garcia into the plate. Oh, not traditionally a right fielder. He'll hang on to that one and loft it in to the first baseman, Hanley.
Talk about the vertical of Garcia. That ball had only just lightly tipped the top of his glove before O was able to pick it up.
Bases juiced. Blue Sox had the chance to get some more runs across the plate. Good breaking ball on the outside corner for strike 1. Back to the 2-hitter, Landero. 0-1 with 2 down. Blue Sox on all the bases. Spiked in the dirt. Good block by DiMaggio behind the plate. One, 2 down. Top of the 9th inning. Nice breaking ball dropped in. Count will move to 1-2. 1 strike away. Or the Kettleers and Blue Sox pitcher Kyle Murray. Heads towards the plate. A chopper to the first baseman. Pitcher doesn't cover the bag. Hanley will have to eat it. Kind of an in-between play. Tough one. Murray went over to try and get that one, and no one was covering first base. Garcia ran over as well. Another run comes in to score.
Looked like a bit of a miscommunication in the infield. Murray trying to see if someone else was probably going to take that. It looked like he was running at it, but wasn't sure of the play. By the time you get a hand on it, at least for Hanley, no one else could help.
Infield single, and another run comes in. Pasiak scores. 9-2 the score. Blue Sox with some late offense pick up their first 2 runs in the top of the 9th. Waited a little too long to get the offense jump-started, but they finally arrived.
It's always those situations. You have 1 out left. High-stress moment. Have to see if Cotuit can finally put it away.
I think a lot of the mentality usually is you don't want to be that last guy letting your team down. The last thought of you being the final out. Ironically, the Blue Sox are facing off against their own pitcher right now, so a bit of a interesting dilemma there. Nonetheless, it'll go 2-2 with 2 down in the top of the 9th. Bases loaded for the Blue Sox. Kettleers with a 9-2 lead. And a Blue Sox arm on the mound in Cal Murray. Opening day scrimmage, a lot of experience. Murray works towards plate. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Top of the 9th finished up. And we'll have to wait and see how things shape out. Looks like that'll be the end of things here at Lowell Park as the Kettleers jog off the field for the final time. We'll get you back right after we figure
out how this scrimmage will wrap up on camera. Let's welcome you back into the booth. Babe Irvin, Brooke Kilgore. Brooke, beautiful first day. Looks like we might have some more baseball action going on out here, but a completely new booth setup in here as well. Your thoughts?
Seriously, take a look at it. I mean, we have so much space to operate. Of course, we're so grateful to know that we have these broadcast opportunities, but even more grateful to the CAA for helping fund this renovation, of course, our booth.
On the other side, in terms of the production truck, everyone over there really working hard to make sure this looks good for us and making us look good. So we're grateful to Adriana and Emily and Joe over there. But yeah, we have a lot more space to run around and a lot more space to talk about Kettleers baseball. So.
Won't be the first time you'll see us in this booth. Quite some time to go. Looks like we might be heading back out for another inning. Kettleers might have some more experience as the Blue Sox take the field. You see a full Blue Sox team there. And waiting on a hitter and a catcher are we at Lowell Park. Brooke, I want to ask you your favorite thing about Lowell Park. It's something we asked the players earlier today. What is yours, though?
I love the flexibility of the outfield in terms of anyone can sit anywhere and get the same view and same quality view, I guess, of baseball here at Lowell Park. I mean, you'll see it on opening day. Fans lining the outfield line, dogs everywhere. That's honestly the second best part of this field besides the history that comes with it too. So just the fact that fans can be connected to the players and the team and the action no matter where they are in the ballpark, that's something that you don't see everywhere.
Absolutely.
You've been here for a day and a half at this point. What's your favorite part of Lowell Park?
You know, I can't deem you an answer right now just because I'm still getting used to everything, the beautiful ballpark and all that it has to offer. Right now, I think it's the trees, though. I think that's a misconception for those who haven't been on the Cape before. My perspective was kind of a beach town, and you get here and pretty foresty.
It's very green, and it's deceiving to know that there's an ocean just right behind those trees. A lot of creeks surrounding this area. A couple turtles here and there, too, if you look closely.
So, all right, it seems like this will be the final half inning from what we know. Bottom of the 9th inning. 9-2 Kettleers. Esteban Garcia due up first for the Kets. He's got 2 hits on the day, 3 RBIs, a walk, a fly out, and a ground out. First pitch clips the outside corner.
Taking a look at first base, you've got a player in a warm-up jersey as well. Wondering who they're sending out.
It's been a bit of everything today at Lowell Park.
You also have to wonder how Murray's going to fare in this inning, getting virtually no break except for 2 minutes in between. See how his pitches do, and if Garcia can find a way to line it up and send something deep in that regard.
Looks like they might have gone to a new reliever in Ryan Grundy. Number 22, a right-handed pitcher. Throwing pretty well on the mound there, 86 miles per hour, misses off the plate there for Esteban Garcia. Talked about it earlier, but Esteban from Queens, New York, has been a big fan of the Knicks' finals run so far. So he'll take ball 4 and head on down to first base. Been following that really closely. Got to talk to him about that.
He was ecstatic when you had asked him about the Knicks and how they were doing.
The first question these days to anybody from New York. Bottom of the 9th inning, last half in this opening day scrimmage. Getting a chance to try things out here at Lowell Park for the first time. Thanks for bearing with us in our opening scrimmage. Good breaking ball thrown in there. Garcia off first, so Once again, it'll be 2 Blue Sox hitters in the 7 and 8 spot for the Kettleers, technically contributing to the Kets. Only one has recorded a hit so far. It has been Acosta. Flown into center field. Chasing back Anderson to his left a little bit. Garcia got far off first base there, but plenty of time to get back to first base and retreat.
Maybe Garcia heard you, or Acosta heard you from the press box and tried to make it 2 hits on today.
Well, it's been 16 total, and only one of them has been a Blue Sox hitter, so that means 15 combined between the 6 Kettleers. Pretty solid hitting statistics. Every guy getting upwards of 5 at-bats. And now Doyle, who reached his last time up on an error and scored a run, will face a 0-2 count.
In terms of Ryan Grundy out there on the mound, excuse me.
Good piece of hitting from Doyle as he takes that opposite field into the right center field gap. Acosta moves over to third base, first to third. He goes, runners on the corner with 1 down, and you might see another Blue Sox hitter step up here. Looks like it'll be Walsh.
Well, and another fun tidbit for you, Ryan Grundy is not even a pitcher at Holy Cross. He's out in the infield most times, finished this past season with a .233 batting average. The surprises just keep coming.
Want some gas on the mound, though, 85, 86. Easily one of the hardest arms that the Kets have seen all day. So there's runners on first and third. They're both Blue Sox. Pinch runners technically playing for the Kettleers. Hitter at the plate is Walsh, who is a Blue Sox player. And the whole outfield, as you'll see, a play being made there by Pasiak. Runner will tag up. No throw to the plate. Acosta scores. And the Kettleers dugout claps things up. Technically a run contributed for the Kettleers. That was a entirely Blue Sox play there.
That was, and another fun tidbit for you, Grundy, 2 hits in the game against Bucknell, in which Jonathan Edelman pitched in, came in for relief towards the end of that matchup. Didn't give up any hits in that run, but interesting to see a lot of these connections span past just Cape Cod baseball.
2 down, 0-1 count, bottom of the 9th inning. Spiked in the dirt. Doyle thought about going on that one. One, 1, 2 down. Pitch misses inside. Chopper to the third baseman, ranging over, and airmail in the throw over the first baseman's head. Runners will move on to second and third. 10-2 the score for the Kettleers. Looks like Kets might think about calling this. And that'll conclude things at Lowell Park. 10-2 the final score on paper. A lot of back and forth. But Brooke, the point of this one, getting back out into baseball action at Lowell Park as Rick DeAngelis and Rob Cooper continue a tradition of over 20-plus years, going back to a fundraiser. Kettleers baseball is back. Jerseys are back. The pinstripes are back. We appreciate you for tuning in here at Lowell Park. 10-2 the final, 17 hits for the Kettleers, only 1 error for Lexington. 2 runs scored in the top of the 9th inning, 8 hits, 3 earned runs. The players will shake hands. Once again, the schedule for this week upcoming. Scrimmage tomorrow on the Vineyard at 5 p.m. Friday, the picnic right here at Lowell Park. The chance to meet the team and some interns as well. And then Saturday will be opening day against Wareham. Appreciate you all for tuning in. From our entire crew, our production booth, our interns, our players here at Lowell Park. Alongside Brooke Kilgore, I'm Liam Irvin. See you next time.